everyone, and welcome back to the Ultimate Summit 2016. I'm so glad you're here with us today. And I know you are here because you're interested in writing. And we have Mary Knipple with us today, and she is a writing expert. She can help you with articles, writing that story within you to bring out the best of you. And what we're going to talk today about is profiles. Profiles on LinkedIn and profiles on Facebook that actually drive people back to your website so they'll want to check out more. And we're going to answer that question to what is white space and why do we need it? Sometimes people in the very beginning for me would say, you don't have enough white space. And I was thinking, what the heck is that? Because all you do is put your information in. So where does that come from? So Mary Knipple is the Writer Unleashed, and I've known her for a number of years, and she's very, very good at what she does, and also very busy. So I wanted to welcome her into the show right away so that she can impart her words of wisdom. And I am Charlene Reeves, your host, and your sponsor is Maximize Your Wealth Now TV. So thank you so much for showing up to be with us today. And let's bring Mary on. Hi, Mary. I'm so glad you're here with us.
Hi, Charlene. I'm excited to be here, too. I love talking about writing.
Yes, and you're very, very good at it. So, Mary, share with us a little bit about your background and how you got started in writing, where that comes from.
Oh, I've always loved words and language, and I started keeping a journal when I was 11. So I had things to put down on paper that were very significant to an 11-year-old. And still today, as a much older, mature woman, I find that writing in my journal still has helped me personally and professionally. So I encourage everyone to get their thoughts down on paper.
Well, I know what you mean about that journal. I've been doing a journal since, oh my gosh, I think I was 9 years old when I started journaling. And, I haven't looked back to when I was 9 years old, but I could imagine how different it would be from today. And, the thing I love about having a journal is you can look back over how you progressed over a year, because we don't think that we've gone very far, but the reality is that we've gone quite far. We just don't realize it.
That is so true. And the seeds in your journal can start a bouquet of things that you want to do in your life. And you never know where the downloads are going to take you when you just listen to your heart and put it down on paper.
Right. That's so true. That's really true. Because then it can germinate. Since we're talking about seeds and bouquets, we can say the seeds germinate into something so much bigger over time. And we may not think we have anything at all, but then once we look back at it, it's kind of an aha. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. You realize something that you thought was going to be a really big deal and you were worried about it, and you can see it on the pages, or where you have gone, oh, how am I going to handle this? And then it comes up and you have figured it out. You created your solution through the words that you wrote down and the scenarios that you thought about, and what you wanted to happen happened because you put that down on paper before the situation actually occurred.
Wow, that's really interesting. We just don't know what kind of moves around in our mind. I know with me, when I'm trying to write my classes, like the Celebrity Guest Expert TV training, I have to put pieces down, let it germinate, and then let it all come together. Is that the way everyone works, or is that just me?
There are some people that have to have an outline and know exactly where they're going before they will start anything. There are other people who just want to wing it. They wait for the inspiration and then they just furiously work on something. It has to be with your rhythm. You have to know yourself and figure out, this is what I want to do and this is how I'm going to work. But the the thing that's really important is that you're consistent in showing up on the page. Just like any other muscle, you need to build your writing muscle.
Mary, do me a favor. Look right into your camera, okay?
Okay.
All right. So, you know, let's talk about our writing muscle. When it comes to profiles, how do you suggest that we work that writing muscle? How do we know in a profile where to begin?
Well, consider where this profile is going to be. That's important, but also to know your message and who you are talking to overall, your ideal client. Wouldn't it be fabulous if in 50 words or less, your ideal client would recognize that you are the solution they've been looking for? That would be absolutely amazing. So in order for that to happen, you have to be clear about who you are, what you do, and what you offer, and then be consistent every time you are filling out a profile that you use the words that your clients are going to connect with. And there may be some profiles that ask for something specific, but there will always be that they want to know who you are and that you have a clear idea, concept, that you know who you are, what you're doing, and what you have to offer. That has to go into everything, whether it's 10 words at the end of your emails or 50 words in being invited to be on a teleconference, or the longer profile that you can create for places like LinkedIn and Facebook.
So now that you've gone to LinkedIn and Facebook, where do we begin with that? Because it looks so simple. I mean, you just put in, it's like kind of like a resume, wouldn't you say? In that, you know, you just kind of put in what you've done in your past, and it doesn't really, it seems so simple, and yet it isn't.
In that sense, it's fill in the blanks. You answer the questions. But consider how you are answering those questions. Will people understand your essence if you just make a list of where you went to school and your last job? That's pretty flat. But if you talk about your first job and what you did, that will give people an idea of how you've grown, how you stretched yourself, the challenges that you went after. I had a client who wanted help with her profile, and we did an interview because I've been a journalist for over 30 years. So asking questions is what really gives me juice, getting deeper into your story. And when we were talking about her first job, she said, I convinced my next door neighbor to allow me to babysit her newborn. And I was 10 years old. And I thought, I don't know very many 10-year-olds that would have, first of all, have the gumption to be asking for a job like that, and then to convince an adult that you were capable to take care of a newborn. And she said, well, it just seemed logical to me because she'd seen me taking care of my little brother. Okay, there's more to the story then, because her brother was handicapped. And so she was a very mature 10-year-old. And you know, the industry that this woman is in, she's in sales. So she has been in sales ever since she was a little girl. But that wasn't anywhere in her profile. And wouldn't that give you a better understanding of, this woman has been doing this for so long, I know that she can help me with my sales. That's just an example of a story that you put in to your profile that helps people know who you are. Not just, this is a list of where I went to school and my last job.
Well, that's an interesting concept. If I put in my last job, it would say that I was a nursery school teacher's assistant who cleaned out guinea pig cages. And look at me now. I never put that on LinkedIn, should I?
It could be something that went on your website in your About Me section, because people want to know that you're human and you've had all kinds of experiences. So because you were a nursery school teacher and you had exposure to, the vast range of passion in a nursery school and experience with live animals, then you could interact with other live animals, with the personalities that sometimes we encounter.
Uh-huh. Wow, interesting concept. So I know everybody doesn't put all those things on their profile that they've done. So when they're picking through, what's the best thing to put?
Now, that's true. There are so many experiences that we've had that we don't list everything. But to find the one that really displays who you are and what gifts you bring to the world, have a conversation with somebody and give them an idea of, this is what I'm thinking about. Don't just leave it up to yourself, because we are so busy being in the picture that we get caught up in, oh, there's so much here. But to let people know how fabulous you are as a human being and that you are relatable, and the industry that you are in, what is something that your people really need to know about you? That you're vulnerable, that you've made mistakes, and this is how you've overcome things, that you went out on a limb and said, I'm not going to stay in this job because I know I belong over here. Mm-hmm. That you show up for your people. Mm-hmm. That's the story that you need to have out there. And I'm so passionate about this, I tear up, and that's where I show my vulnerability.
I totally get that. I really totally get that. And I've seen you for so many years out there and working with, you do so much volunteering too. I would love it if you would share about the group that you work with in San Francisco, the writers group. Would you do that?
Oh, I would love to. The San Francisco Writers Conference is something that has been going on for over 10 years. And it was started by a group that we also belong to the Women's National Book Association of the San Francisco chapter. And we wanted to help the writers in the area who wanted to be able to be exposed to the movers and the shakers, as well as the people who are just getting started. They have a book idea or they have a manuscript that they're wanting to shop around. So the first year of the San Francisco Writers Conference, I babysat the purses in the volunteer lounge. That's what I thought I was qualified for.
I love it.
And the last 5 years, I have been the independent editor coordinator, because all of the participants of the 300 to 500 people that attend the conference, they have an opportunity to come and talk to an editor, bring pages if they want to, but it's only an 8-minute consultation. But to be exposed to a professional editor who's going to give them an idea of, your first paragraph really needs to grab people. Who are you talking to be able to get some feedback? And as an independent editor myself, I feel so blessed to be able to share my knowledge with the aspiring writers that come to the conference.
Yeah, and 1 year I volunteered with Mary. That was very enlightening. And I learned and saw how much Mary knew. And that's why I wanted her to mention this, because it will make a big difference for you, because she's had this exposure and she's had so much experience with regard to the people that can move you forward once you have written something. But I want to go back to the profiles.
Okay.
How would you say, Mary, a LinkedIn profile would compare to a Facebook profile?
Well, comparing them is like comparing apples and oranges, because LinkedIn is considered the professional go-to place. And when you are in an industry that really pays attention to a resume, that they want to know that you have gone to school at this certain place, you have the qualifications, and you've been certified, and there are also a lot of groups that check out people on LinkedIn exclusively because they want to know that you're qualified, and also that you are serious about this business that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
On Facebook, it can be more social because you have to have a personal profile before you can put up a business page. So you have to pay attention to the things that are going on your personal page as opposed to your business page. But for all of the profiles that you put up, you have to be sure that you are speaking the same language everywhere you post your name and who you are and what you do, and link it back to your website. You can't show up at one place and say, I am passionate about helping you do X, and then go over to the next profile and say, hey, I'm really good at this, and come to me for that X, Y, and Z. And for the people who say, but I have so many modalities that I am really good at, I am passionate about different things, then I caution people to speak to your ideal client, and they will come to you. And if there are other people out there that lean in when they hear you give your pitch, when they listen to your tagline, when they come across a post that you're talking about something that really gets to them, then those people will know where they can go to get more information. But always and foremost, use your keywords. Use the language that your people are going to really connect with and hear. You don't use jargon. Don't use the technical stuff that your colleagues would use and understand, and acronyms and things like that someone will get, huh, do I really understand that? I don't know if I want to be all looking for a thesaurus or trying to download, what does this mean?
Yes.
You want to use language that is going to draw people in, paint a picture of how you can help them so that they hear that you understand their struggle and that you are the answer to their problem.
Awesome. Wow, that was beautiful. Very well said. The answer to their problem, or the answer to their challenge. And you know, one thing that sometimes I read on this LinkedIn or Facebook, they have so many errors in spelling, and or they don't express themselves properly so that I can really understand them. So how do you help people with that?
Well, using my 30 years as a journalist, I always do an interview. I ask them questions about everything that could possibly help me uncover their essence, their who, their what, their why, their where, their how. And what's really important is that besides knowing where they've gone to school and the things that they have been doing, it's why they're doing it. The connection between, I can't stand not doing this because it's just in my DNA. I'm so passionate about it. I would do it if people didn't pay me, but I really want people to pay me, kind of thing. Because it's something that you have just explored on your own because it made a difference in your life, more likely than not. Writing is a healing tool. That's one of the things that has really helped me. And I want other women to know that their story matters. So that's my why.
Awesome. Yep, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Mary, I have another question for you.
Okay.
You know, people talk about themselves all the time. I mean, especially women, they're always talking about themselves. But I can't figure out why they have such a hard time writing about themselves. Or on LinkedIn, can they put themselves down as a third person, like they're talking about themselves, but it's not them talking? Is that livable?
Well, you know, there are some places where it's appropriate to talk about yourself in the third person. I mean, there are, you know, a book jacket, maybe the bio that's on the book jacket, the profile there. But to make a connection with who's reading, it's first person. And when I'm helping someone get clear about how they're going to talk about themselves, I underline and underscore, when you're writing this stuff down just for you, remember who is your first reader. If you aren't excited about what you're putting down and sharing out into the world, then the general population isn't going to be excited about it too. So that is something that I really emphasize as well, is yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we can talk about ourselves. It's important that we remember what it is that we are trying to share, and that the message has to be clear on these profiles, that I can deliver your solution. And it's not just because I have this new gadget, it's because I care about you, and I care about your bottom line, that you are able to connect with who needs you, because we're showing up for each other.
So Mary, is it important to put our keywords into our LinkedIn and our Facebook profile, or how do you work that in when you're talking about yourself? It doesn't always work.
Well, that's a fabulous question, because the keywords are what you talk about all the time. It's your authentic language. So you don't have to have a list next to your keyboard. It's like, I have to say this 3 different times. And if you used, you know, that kind of a formula, Google Analytics would just kick you out, because you're sounding like one of the robots that, oh, I must say this, must say this, must say this, rather than talking to a friend. It's like, I notice that this has been a real challenge for you and you're struggling with this. Let's have a conversation and see how we can resolve this for you. Not, I have this for sale, I have this for sale. So
yes.
So that is what I want people to recognize, that their key words are the words that they use all the time. It's their authentic language.
Wow, that's awesome. That's really awesome. So I don't have to go pay somebody to tell me what my key words are then, because it's just whatever it is that I say all the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So tell us, I always ask, believe it or not, we're running short of time now. So time goes so fast, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, it does.
So for our viewers, did you bring something special for them, a free gift or something that you can offer them?
Well, I know that blogging is a free advertising thing that entrepreneurs really can find challenging. And I have a document on my website that gives you ideas on what to write about on your blog, and to help you develop a relationship with your readers, because that's what you're doing. you're sitting down and having a conversation with your readers when you put a blog out. So I would love for the listeners to go to yourwritingmentor.com and look for the blogging tips.
Awesome, awesome. And share with us a little bit about your program and how that can support us in what we're doing.
Well, as you said, writing about yourself and talking about yourself can be two different things. But filling out those profiles and making sure that you're using your authentic language on all the platforms, I've created a program to help you find the language and putting things together. So I work with you in labs, and I give you assignments that's talking about you in a very easy to follow step-by-step template, and using my background as a journalist and the interview techniques where I help you be comfortable finding that language and putting it together so that who needs you is able to find you because you're showing up in your brilliance on the page.
Wow. So you have a big program too, correct?
Yes, we have an ongoing program to help people with their, not only their blogging, but whatever program that or piece of writing that they want to do. Some people have been invited to be part of an anthology, and I've helped people put together their chapters. I've helped people with their whole books, figuring out who it is that their audience is and how their personal story has universal appeal, so that when they went to speak to an agent or an independent publisher, that they could talk articulately about their story on a personal level, and also help who they're addressing to identify that this story is just bigger than one person. This has global impact.
Wow, awesome. So tell us, it sounds like it might be pretty pricey, but because I've never had a writer write for me. So how does that work?
Well, we have to have an interview first to find out if this is a subject that I can help you with, because although I've lived with a computer programmer for a long, long time, I do not write code or anything like that. I'm not a technical writer. I help you with your story and help you get in touch with the essence of who you are and what you want the world to know about you. So I wouldn't quote any prices. I would just invite people to sign up to have a conversation with me and see, so that we could see if we were a match.
Wow. Awesome. Okay, Mary. Well, you know, this has been a lot of really good information. I want you to answer that question, though, about the white space on the profile.
Okay. Just the way you put a sentence, put a period at the end of a sentence so that there's breathing space. The white space gives a person, the eye, a place to rest. If you look at something and it's solid type, don't you just get, I don't know if I can get through to the end of this. So being able to have a period, go down to another paragraph, that white space is breathing space.
Oh, good answer. That's awesome. I've always wondered what that was, what that even meant, you know?
Yes.
Well, Mary, you've really been wonderful, and I just want to thank you so much for your time. And I hope that our TV viewing audience has gotten some really good information. And if you want to reach Mary, you can always go to my website at maximizeyourwealthnow.com and then click on Summit, and you will find Mary there. So if you have a book in you, or you want to write for a magazine like my magazine's Wealthy Woman magazine, or you want to just put something on your blog, which it sounds awesome because that's a free thing, then you'll want to reach out to Mary. And Mary, I want to ask you, do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share with us?
I just invite everyone to unleash the writer within.
Perfect. And I think she's absolutely right, because we all have a story to tell. I hope you've enjoyed this segment of our Ultimate Summit 2016, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. I'm Shirlene, your host with Maximize Your Wealth Now TV. See you next time.